Hi, amazing souls. Welcome back to day 4 of our Rise Above the Story Challenge. I'm so honored that you're here. This has been such a great few days. I mean, we have covered a lot of ground, and I'm so honored and grateful that you have shared yourself in the stories and the comments, and that you are willing to be part of this amazing movement where we are going to change the world one story at a time. So thank you again for being here. And today we're talking about a big one. It is rising above the story of your past. Now, I know that over the past few days, we've kind of dipped our toe into the past, right? Because a lot of the stories we tell ourselves come from something that happened in our past, of course. But today is, what is that big story of your past? The pivot point. The thing that became a fiber of your being, that really held you back, that prevented you from soaring, from following your dream, from making the right choices for you professionally, personally, romantically. What is that big one huge story? Again, I am going to start because I feel like that is something that we all are doing in this community, right? We're all sharing. So my big story of my past, my pivot point, the thing that was in my fiber, the thing that really kind of prevented me from living my very biggest life, was my dad going to prison when I was 12 years old. And I've explained it a lot to you in the past few videos, and there's so much more to it, so much more to the way I lived day to day, the things I did without, the things I had to do to survive. But what that experience did to me was it set me in a state of perpetual fight or flight. I had lived for years in such scarcity and doing without food, water, electricity. It set me in this sense of that you could have things and that they could be taken from you quickly and without explanation, which is how my 12-year-old brain processed the fact that my dad went to prison and left us with what we had. So I lived in that state as I got older, decades even, and I would carry that around with me, that sense of everything was going to disappear. I had to constantly be on edge. I had to constantly be perfect. I had to constantly be thinking ahead of everybody. I had to make sure I had all my bases covered. That sense of fight or flight, that sense of adrenaline constantly running through my body, that sense of past trauma, all of that set off in me intense anxiety, this feeling of I didn't sleep. I didn't sleep. I couldn't. I would sleep an hour or two, wake up, sleep an hour or two, wake up. It was for years like that. It was horrible. And that sense of fight or flight, that sense of scarcity, that sense of not trusting the universe, myself, people around me, that I was capable of taking care of myself, that sense of lack of trust, that sense of lack of safety, just stayed with me for decades, and it made me do things I didn't want to do or I shouldn't have done. For instance, I took jobs I didn't want to take. I married somebody I didn't want to marry. I ended up sleeping with people I didn't want to sleep with, or I shouldn't have slept with, or whatever. It constantly set me on this path of doing things other than what I really wanted to do. So that story I have from my past, that scarcity, that story of scarcity that I wrote for myself after my dad went to prison, that story is the big story of my life, and the story I had to rise above, and the story that took me the most to rise above. And I would just tell you that it took me a lot. It took me therapy. It took me a lot of journaling, a lot of reading, a lot of soul searching, a lot of 2 steps up, 1 step back, because I'm here to tell you something. Rising is never typically a 1 step, one and done. It's just not. It's like healing. Healing is never just a, oh, I'm done, I'm healed. No, there's always a little bit of back and forth, a little bit of back and forth. It's just the way it is. It's just kind of, I feel like the universe's way to make sure that you know you're really learning what you need to learn. So it's actually a beautiful thing. So again, I'm tossing it over to you. What is the one story, the one thing, that story you've told yourself about the thing that happened that is your big story, that has become the big false fiber of your being, the thing that has changed you more than anything? What is it? Comment below, tell us, share it with us, and journal about it. This is a big thing, right? This is the big story. And the way we're going to rise above it is to be honest and to acknowledge it. So get busy, my friends. This is a big one. And I'm sending you so much love, and I'm sending you so much respect. And I can't tell you how much this is to be doing the work we're doing. So until tomorrow, take good care. I'll talk to you soon.